Hafaday, and good morning. The Committee on Health, Tourism, Military Affairs, and Senior Citizens now convenes this public hearing. Public hearing notices were provided to the media. First notice on Wednesday, March 14, 2018. Second notice on Thursday, March 22, 2018. For the record, today is Monday, March 26, 2018, and the time now is 10:04 a.m. The committee will hear and accept testimonies, both oral and written, on the following: the executive appointment of Dr. Kia Ramani, member of the Guam Board of Medical Examiners; the executive appointment of Dr. Keith M. Horinucci, nutritionist representative, Guam Board of Allied Health Examiners; the executive appointment of Ms. Alicia C. Ogo, occupation therapist representative, Guam Board of Allied Health Examiners; the executive appointment of Mr. Gregory J. Cruz to serve as a respiratory therapist representative of the Guam Board of Allied Health Examiners. We also have two bills on the agenda, Bill 241-34 and Bill 233-34. I'd like to acknowledge Speaker Cruz for being here. Thank you, Speaker, and Vice Speaker Terlahi. Thank you very much for being here. We're going to adjust the agenda this morning, if you don't mind if we do that. We're going to go ahead and hear first on the agenda Bill 241-31. This is an act to amend sections 18120.1a of Chapter 18, Title 10 Guam Code Annotated, relative to clarifying the guest educator provision of the Barbering and Cosmetology Act. This is a bill that Senator Sanagtin and I had introduced and authored, and this really is a one-word amendment to the law. It was an oversight that was caught after the law was enacted, and it was from an and to an or, and which really makes a big difference when you take a look at the provision of the law. So we have one individual here who wishes to provide testimony, Mr. Joseph Artera Cameron. I'd like to recognize you now.
Half a day, Mr. Chairman, Speaker, and Vice Speaker, thank you very much for having me here. I am representing Mary A.C. Beauty Academy, doing business as Mary A.C. Beauty Academy, but most known as Pivot Point International, which is represented by over 300 schools worldwide. So we fall under that same umbrella. Thank you very much for taking into consideration the potential of a one-word amendment. I am here on behalf of the owner and president of Mary A.C. Beauty Academy, and that is Maria Taitano de Lyle. I will read her testimony. Half a day, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much for revisiting Public Law 11234. In clarifying that licensed cosmetologists, nail technologists, estheticians, and barbers are not required to obtain a post-secondary instruction certification or a master's degree. Mary A.C. Beauty Academy invites qualified guest educators to speak on the areas but not limited to sanitation, sterilization, health issues, anatomy, physiology, business, or environmental science. These particular guest educators hold either a post-secondary, a baccalaureate degree, or most notably a master's degree at the very least. Mary A.C. Beauty Academy fully supports Bill number 241-34, Committee on Rules. Cosmetology schools that are accredited by the National Accrediting Commission of Career Arts and Sciences references substitute and/or guest educators be certified in their respective fields of specialty. Sincerely, Maria Taitano de Lyle. I might add, Mr. Chairman, Speaker, and Vice Speaker, we had the National Accrediting Commission on Career Arts and Sciences team to come to the school more than 45 days ago to review its paperwork and to recertify the accreditation of the school. With the certification of the school being under the accreditation, we are allowed to also accept VA education veteran preferences, and we're also allowed to take in individuals with Pell Grant. This portion of the bill, unfortunately, used the word "and" between the 1 and 2. So it primarily states that according to the accreditation team that visited Guam, there were 4 of them, the amendment is necessary because it references that folks who are in the beauty industry will likewise have to have a master's degree. It's probably a misnomer on word, and we wanted to come back to the table with the lawmakers to see if we could kindly revisit that word and change it with or. And that does place a special emphasis in our ability to bring in folks either from the nursing school at UOG or at GCC, and also individuals from the University of Guam who can teach as guest educators a segment, not the whole course, but a segment of a course that allows the folks who are going to our school to be much more broad-minded in reference to what are the differences and what it is that we're looking for when we're dealing with the public for non-communicable diseases or diseases that are contagious. Likewise, we do have a license to touch the body, and that being said, not many folks who are actually certified and licensed to heal people directly or indirectly, but with touch, it is critical that we have folks from the University of Guam who specialize in either physical education majors or instructors or physiology or anatomy, so that when we're working with massage therapy, that we have a trained eye from the outside who can guide us in some of the more finite details of that curriculum. That being said, there are many other disciplines out there that affects the industry as well as we work with the public. Once again, I thank you very much for being very expeditious about our request as we are waiting for this particular amendment to support the NACAS accreditation team's efforts to get us reaccredited.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cameron. Speaker, anything? Vice Speaker? No. Okay, thank you very much. This now concludes the hearing on Bill 241. We'll keep the record open until such time the committee report has been issued out. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Jesus Masi, and Biba Miss tomorrow.
Biba. We now move on to the executive appointments of both Dr. Keith M. Horinucci and Ms. Alicia C. Ogo. I'd like to invite you both up to the table, please. Alphadean, good morning. Congratulations on your, I believe it's your reappointment to the, or is it your first appointment, both of you? Dr. Horinucci, you're serving in the board right now, right? On the Guam Allied Health? Oh, you're not, so you're both you. Okay, so congratulations on your appointment. And so we'll go ahead and give you the floor, if you can make any opening statements on your confirmation. We'll start with Ms. Ogo.
Well, I'm happy to serve the way I can. The occupational therapists, especially here on Guam, have not had representation on the board, I think ever since they were licensed. So for me, it adds to my stress, but at the same time, I'm willing to do what I can and to serve whoever I can in the best way I can. Yes.
Thank you. Doc, go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity to present myself to be considered for the appointment to the Guam Allied Health Board of Examiners. I have been on Guam since 1996 and have been practicing nutritional and lifestyle medicine for the past 22 years here in Guam. In 2001, I was the second nutritionist to be licensed on Guam. I currently have my own practice in Tamuning and provide clinical nutrition and wellness services. I have also been active in Guam committees and chaired the following: Guam Diabetes Control Coalition, the Non-Communicable Disease Coalition, NCD, and the Prevention and Early Intervention Advisory Community Empowerment, also known as PEACE Committee. I have other past experiences working with government, including 10 years with the state of Hawaii, where I was administrator for the state hospitals on the islands of Kauai and Hawaii. I served on the Kauai Board of Ethics, Kauai Rural Health Council, the Hawaii Statewide Health Coordinating Council, to name a few. I believe I can contribute positively to the activities of the Guam Allied Health Board of Examiners, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve the government of Guam. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc, and to Ms. Ogo for your for stepping up and for accepting the call to serve. You know, the Guam Allied Health Board is a huge board. It has many disciplines in that board, and you know, we've been trying to work with the administration to getting them to impanel the Commission on Healing Arts, which is really the chairs of each of the boards, the medical board, the nursing board, the Guam Allied Health, and kind of come together because one of the main or the common challenges that we hear is the licensing office, right? The licensing office. I know that there's other challenges as well with the Allied Health Board. Have any of you been briefed on the current issues of the Allied Health Board? Because even if you serve in you represent your profession, your individual professions, you serve and you license all the different disciplines that are under that. Have they given you any briefing? No, I guess they're waiting for maybe till after you're confirmed to. Okay, well, I'll open the floor for any questions from the speaker or vice speaker. Speaker, Madam Vice Speaker.
Just want to say thank you, and I guess, yeah, it's going to be a challenge because you are going to be dealing with many different people. And one thing I would also like to ask, we've had some bills that have gone through the legislature without any input from the board, and I would like to encourage you to keep an eye on legislation, and if you're invited, to please take it up with the board and see maybe if the board has a position on those things, because the more input that we can get, the better for us, for the entire field, which is very diverse, but also very critical for God. So thank you very much for your willingness to serve. Thanks.
Thank you, Vice Speaker. Would you like to add anything else, Doc or Ms. Ogo? If not, this is the shortest confirmation hearing. So we'll go ahead and deem both your appointments have been duly heard. And so if you'd like to provide any written testimony or from anyone else or from yourself, you may do so by submitting it to my office, okay? We'll go ahead and welcome Mr. Cruz as well, who's also being appointed to the same board. We'll go ahead and acknowledge you now, sir, because their portion is done. If you have any opening, please. You can just press that button.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sorry I'm late. I had to go to a funeral, so almost impossible to get away from family that you haven't seen in, ages. But I apologize for being late.
Mr. Cruz, you're being appointed as, I know that Ms. Ogo is the occupational therapist and you're the respiratory therapist. Are you serving in the board now?
No.
No, so this is your first. Are you replacing an individual?
I'm replacing somebody, but I used to be on the board.
Used to be on the board.
Yeah,
Okay.
I served on the board for about 4 years.
Okay, great. As I was mentioning to the two of them, this is a big board, and there's a lot of disciplines under this board.
Yeah.
And so, we will continue to work with you folks if you're once you're confirmed to see how we can provide the assistance. I know that one of the mechanisms that is provided for in statute right now is the establishment of the Commission on Healing Arts. And so I know that it's never been impaneled, even during your time, I suppose, when you serve. But it's really for the governor to appoint, I believe it's the chair from each of the different boards that are served under the licensing office, to really be able to come together and help move the whole licensing office forward. And I still believe that's key to addressing a lot of the challenges. So I'm hoping that once you're confirmed, you can also push and help see that commission impaneled as soon as possible. Okay? Again, so Speaker, you have any questions for Mr. Cruz, Vice Speaker? If not, again, thank you very much. Congratulations. And your confirmation, your appointments have been duly heard. Okay? Thank you. We'll now move on to the next item on the agenda, introduced by Speaker Cruz. It's Bill 233-34. Speaker Cruz.
I don't know if I should make a statement. Bill 233 was introduced to comply with the Supreme Court opinion in the 2017 Guam 4 opinion, where the court found that the local statute that we're proposing to repeal is inorganic in that it makes a requirement that is not in the Organic Act. And so, though I wish that this provision could, and I believe should, remain in statute, the Supreme Court has spoken, and so this section can and should be repealed in compliance with the court order.
Thank you very much, Speaker Cruz. Vice Speaker, you have anything to add on the record?
I guess I would just like to ask the committee if there is review by council available. We could just get a copy of that. I'm just curious whether there's any appeal period that still exists or whether that's expired, and that would just be part of the record. Thank you. That's all.
Great. Thank you very much. The committee takes that and we'll pursue that, Vice Speaker. So the public hearing on Bill 241-34, Bill 233-34 have been called and completed. The executive appointments of Dr. Keith Horinucci, Ms. Alicia C. Ogo, and Mr. Gregory J. Cruz to serve as members of the Guam Board of Allied Health Examiners have also been called and completed. We don't have Dr. Ramani here, and so his appointment and confirmation hearing will be rescheduled. So the time now is 10:21, and this concludes the public hearing for this morning. Thank you very much.